Hello everyone, welcome! Welcome in this first episode of my podcast, In Shape to Grow. First episode, not ready, but it's the first episode in English, so you can enjoy my beautiful accent. But most of all, you can enjoy really amazing people that may inspire you to bring your health into your business plan. This is my mission, this is the mission of this podcast. To bring health back to the business plan, because it's very important. If you want to keep endurance, if you want to keep going in your entrepreneurial experience, you need to keep in shape to grow. So I'm very happy today to start this new series of the podcast in English. And today I'm really happy to invite one of my great friends, Andy Mills, whom I'm working with for a few years now. But Andy has a very interesting life experience. He has many things to share with you. He has many career as an entrepreneur, starting a few years ago as a health coach, but during another career that may really interest you. So let's enjoy this interview with Andy. Enjoy a pretty nice French accent and a Welsh accent. So enjoy it. Oh, by the way, you're gonna have English versions once a month. Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye. So, hello, Andy. How are you today?
I'm absolutely fantastic and awesome, and I'm improving every day, Dave. Thanks. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm feeling really happy today, and very happy to have you as my guest in this podcast. The podcast to try to inspire entrepreneurs to bring their health back into the business plan. So, do you mind if we come back on a few events on your life?
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to. You just you ask me the questions, and I'll give you the best answers I can.
Excellent. Thank you, Andy. So you grew up in Wales, which is a west part of the United Kingdom, for people in my community that don't really know exactly what's going on in United Kingdom, especially these last few years. But you grew up as a kid over there. And did you play sports? How did you grow up? Did you already at that time pay attention about the food you were eating? Did you play a lot of outdoor activities? How did you grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up in a place called Barry Island. Okay, Barry Island is on the south coast of Wales, and it's very, very near Cardiff. Okay, Cardiff is the capital of Barry Island. Yeah. So I think you're frozen there, Dave. I don't know if you can hear me, but you totally froze.
Yeah, I did. Are you there? Are you back?
I don't know if you can hear me, Dave. I think you're back now. It's down in my screen. It's saying it's in the red for your internet.
No, I think I'm fine. I did hear everything.
Yeah, you totally froze. I felt like I didn't know if it was recording or anything there. We bet it was a total freeze for about half a minute.
Okay, no problem. You can continue. I will cut this.
Yeah. Okay.
No worries.
Okay. So I grew up in Wales in a place called Barry Island, which is in the south coast of Wales, and it's about 10 miles west of Cardiff on the south coast, and Cardiff is the capital of Wales. So it was right on a seaside town. Did I pay attention to food? I paid attention to food, but I didn't pay attention to the quality of food. But yeah, I loved my food. I've always loved food since I was a kid. And I was very, very outdoor active. Back in those days, I mean, I'm 55 now. Back in those days, my mum would kick me out of the house no matter what the weather. Get out and play. Get out in the fresh air. It was always get out in the fresh air. You know, mums knew that fresh air was good for you. Yeah. So I was always out on my bike. We used to walk for miles and miles. Through the woods, through the country lanes. You know, it was a great growing up. You know, a great time when I was growing up as a kid. It really was, and I was sporty. Yeah, I played football. Rugby was my big game. I really enjoyed rugby. Yeah. When I was in the last year of my primary school, we won absolutely everything in football and rugby, apart from the very last cup in rugby. We won everything. We had a great team. So, yeah, but, you know, we played all sorts of sports, cricket, you name it. We just played all sorts of sports. If there was a sport to play, I wanted to try it. Okay. So, yeah, it was great. I grew up from there. And when I was 18, I went and joined the British Army.
Yes,
so I was in the Army for 6 years. Yeah. So it was great. And I played rugby for my regiment for 6 years as well. So obviously played a bit of football, played a lot of other sports because you're guided down that way. And but the only problem with those 6 years in the Army, as you can imagine, a lot of guys together, you do a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Okay. And I haven't got a clue what state my liver must have been in after 6 years. But at that age, I left when I was 25. You're indestructible, or you think you're indestructible.
Yeah.
So I thought I was indestructible. However, I then left the Army, and I joined within 6 months. I joined the fire service, and I spent 30 years as a firefighter.
Yes.
I spent 5 years in Wales, and then 25 years up in Scotland, where I live now. I live just outside Glasgow in Scotland. In those 30 years, I played rugby up until I was about 30, and I got an injury, and it was either give up rugby, or if you keep playing full contact, you know, you could be on a walking stick in the future. So I gave up full contact, played touch rugby for a couple of years, keep my fitness up. Then it kind of died out. But I really started getting into my gym work. Yes. So I do a lot of gym work now, and I do a lot of different things like that. But it wasn't until about 2000 that I really started focusing on the food side of it.
Food side and your health in general, because within these 30 years of work as a firefighter, you started to study holistic coaching. So what did bring you to this maybe total opposite area of the professional career you could do at the time? Because as a firefighter, I guess you were very busy. I mean, you didn't have that much of spare time. So you started to study at the Czech Institute. It's one of the things we have in common. And also at the Integrated Health School from Emma. And so it's very high level studies as a holistic coach. So what did bring you to this path?
Yeah, well, that's how we met, wasn't it, Dave? Through Troy Casey and through all that type of stuff. Yeah, through the Czech Institute. So yeah, you know, it's to cut a long story short, my dad, just self-learning, he started playing about with something called zone therapy, which is like, it was almost back in the day, it was almost like a focused form of reflexology. And as a kid growing up, and when I joined the Army, he treated me for rugby injuries. He treated a lot of people with health issues. Wasn't qualified or nothing like that. Back in those days, you just picked it up yourself. And I'm like, wow, there's something in this. So when I moved to Scotland, and when I was, probably when I was about 30, 31, something like that, I started looking into doing massage. Massage led me down the route of I wanted to look into more down the exercise side of it. And that's when I came in contact. Do you want the quick story of how I found Paul Chek?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I was training in the gym back in 1998. I was training in the gym, and my friend in the gym was called Andy. And I saw him doing this really weird exercise. Well, it was weird for those days, but everyone does it now. And I said, Andy, what is that exercise you do? And he said it was called a wood chop, you know, the old wood chop. I went, wow. He said, yeah, I know you're into sports and you're looking at taking things further. Check out this home study course by Paul Chek. I didn't have a clue who he was. And it was called Scientific Core Conditioning. And within 10 minutes of watching that, Dave, I turned around to my wife, Corrine, and I said, that's what I want to do.
Wow.
And that led me on the road to, believe it or not, becoming an entrepreneur. That's what led me on the road to become an entrepreneur. So from that, obviously, as you know, with Paul Chek, again, to flow the years forward, otherwise we'd be hours on the podcast, to flow the years forward, I got heavily into what Paul Chek teaches about as far as nutrition, lifestyle, and exercise is concerned. And, you know, there was a lot of cognitive dissonance in me. For those who don't know what cognitive dissonance is, I learned all of this stuff in mainstream college. I learned a lot myself before college through all the books that you buy. And then all of a sudden I found out what I was doing all those years was wrong. It was actually detrimental to my health, as opposed to being positive for my health. And it took me a couple of years to really think, hold on, this guy's telling me this. Yeah, I've been doing all this. And that led me into understanding that what we learn in the mainstream, in my opinion, is incorrect on a lot of different things. And you know what? I was doing all these mainstream things, and my friends in the fire station used to call me the unhealthiest fit person that they'd ever met, because I was always coming down with colds, chest infections, but I was still training. I was still fit. I was quite young. And then when I got onto the road with Paul Chek and I started implementing the correct nutrition into my life, the correct way to exercise into my life and how to do everything, it started changing my life. And I thought, I actually want to help other people do this. And that led me down the road then of using the certifications from the Chek Institute to open my own holistic clinic, which it was open for about 20 years. I actually gave it up almost 2 years ago to focus on other areas. Yes. So yeah, that's how I got into the holistic health world. It changed my life, and I've helped change a lot of other people's lives through that as well, which is great.
Yeah, it's very inspiring what you said, because your path as a firefighter was, you could like work forever and have many hours, but you decided to take your own health into your hands and help others, which is the beauty of this market, the health market. When you find the right people, they really are inspiring, and I'm very happy to have known you a few years ago. So you become specialized in physical injuries and gut issues, and in the meantime, you were always searching for the best superfood or complement you could find for yourself and for your clients, and that's where your entrepreneurial career started to move a little bit further, right?
It did, yeah. I got to say, I mean, I still follow Paul Chek, but I'm the type of person who doesn't get bogged down in one thing, okay? I believe you've got to diversify. And what Paul Chek led me to was Emmeline. And I was on a course many, many years ago. I think it was potentially one of, if not the first, holistic lifestyle coaching course in the UK. And Emmeline was teaching the parasite side of it, because she is like an expert. She is a top expert. If you want to know anything about parasites, Emmeline is the person to go to.
I did one of her courses.
Yeah. So I went through over the next few years, and I'm going to start studying with her again because I've had a big break from that. But I started studying and going and studying with Emmeline on her courses to understand more about how the gut works. And how to help people heal with gut issues, or help them help their body. We don't heal them, we help them help their body go through the healing process. So yeah, that led me down that path. And as the years went on, you get to understand more. It really gets into your brain DNA about how you have to find the best products. I truly believe that our food chain is so screwed up across the world. Even organic food isn't what it used to be. And I do believe we do need to do two things. One, supplement our everyday nutrition with supplements like extra vitamin C's and things like that. But I also believe we need to supplement it with superfoods, whole foods as well. So for example, I used to love juicing. It's a pain in the butt. Juicing, cutting, chopping, juicing, cleaning the juicer, drinking it. And because you can't freeze it, you can't leave it. As soon as you juice something fresh, it's got to be drunk. It doesn't matter whether you freeze it or not. Otherwise, the nutrition goes. So that led me to look for different superfoods. And it took me 2 years, maybe even 3 years, to find what I believe are the best superfoods on the market. And I know you use them as well, Dave, and you recommend them. It took me 2 or 3 years to find those. And I always try things for myself first before I recommend them to anybody. So that's what I found. And instead of juicing 6 or 7 different vegetables with all the hassle it comes with, you can literally get a couple of scoops of a powder, mix it in water, and all the nutrition is there. But when you're looking for something like that, you have to make sure you look deep into the company, because I looked at many companies, and this is the only company I could find, I could personally find, that had a proprietary way of juicing cold and then dehydrating instantly. So all the enzymes were kept live in the powder, because a lot of powders out there, the enzymes are dead, which means you're not getting the nutrition it says on the tin or on the box or on the tub. Okay. So that's what I was looking for. And the company, when I looked into this company, I found that they got audited regular, multiple times a year by different auditors to make sure everything that they said was in that product was literally in that product. So I tried and tested those, and it was maybe beginning to mid of 2014 that I started then recommending it to my clients. And obviously that when you start recommending things to clients, and you make a markup on products, that was the start of my, well, it wasn't the start of my entrepreneurial career. That was really the start of my entrepreneurial career was starting the clinic, but that put another bolt onto, you know, it was another bolt on to my entrepreneurial career, was to be able to make a residual income from superfoods.
Yes.
But I will only recommend something that I truly believe is, number one, they're ethical. Number two, they got a great mission statement. Number three, it's clean, it's healthy, and it does positive things for your body. And number four, you know, it works. It does what it says on the box, or does what it says on the tin, as they say. So yeah, I had then that absolutely took the benefits that my clients were getting to the next level. And obviously it took me to the next level of health as well. And that's what I did for all those, for maybe, well, I've been doing that for 8 years, for maybe 6 years. And the last 2 years, I'm still doing that as a business, even though I'm not on my clinic. That's still making me a residual income, and it's helping people get healthy, lose weight by staying healthy, and affecting my life by using the products personally as well. So yeah, entrepreneurship is an amazing field if you find the right things to get into.
Yes, and that's probably why a few years ago you went to another level and you combine two different, not career, but two different products to create your own project. And your project is to be able to help others to feel healthy and to feel secure. And you move to another products in the crypto world, which is right.
Yeah. So the superfoods, I built a really good business with that, and it's still there, and I'm still running the business with it. But the beauty is, nobody buys the products from me. They buy the products from the company. Yeah. And I receive a commission. And anybody that wants to do what I'm doing, like yourself, Dave, we help and we support people do that type of thing. And that's what we do. And we help them build their business. And it's a beautiful industry, because you meet amazing people like yourself and your beautiful wife, Samira, okay, and your kids. We meet people like that. And that's what we do. We help, and you help people that doing the same thing. So that's securing your health side of it. So that's an ongoing thing. And it has been for 8 years. But then maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I started understanding that there's a lot of things going on in the financial sector. Now, what I'm going to say on that is it's kind of my opinion, but it's what I learn constantly from experts within the financial field, in the blockchain and crypto field. And there's a lot of things that are happening with the banking system that isn't good. And it's potentially going to affect us in a negative way. So then I started thinking, well, what I need to do now, I need to find a way that I can also not just help people secure their health, but secure their wealth as well. I'm not a financial advisor. The model that I had with the superfoods is the same model I now use in the crypto and blockchain world. Mm-hmm. And it's to allow people to secure and protect their financial future by using computer technologies in the cryptocurrency world, so they can take some of their hard-earned money either out of the bank or every month, turn it into cryptocurrency, and then make that cryptocurrency work for them. So if you started with 1 Bitcoin, at the end of the year, you may be looking at having 1, 2, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 Bitcoins in a simple format. So by doing that, I'm helping people secure their financial future as well. But I'm not a financial advisor. With the products, the superfoods, they go to the company. I just direct them and guide them.
Yeah.
With the cryptocurrency and blockchain, I direct and guide them to there, and they do everything themselves. Okay. But on both of these, you can earn a residual and a passive income. You earn a residual income with the superfoods, and with the crypto, you can use a residual. But the most important thing is any person who does this can make a passive income on their own money.
Yeah.
So you start with this much money or cryptocurrency, and then you're looking to grow it passively. Let trading assistants work for you. Let other technologies work for you to make you passive incomes on that. So my big picture vision is to help people secure their health and secure their wealth at the same time. And as they're securing their wealth and they're making more money in this amazing world of cryptocurrency, we also make sure that they have the best way of being able to liquidate their profits. And some of those profits that is pure passive income, which means they're just sitting back and their money's making money, they can take some of that passive income, and guess what they can do? They can bring it over here and they can secure their health at the same time. So literally what I'm doing now, I'm taking money that is getting made for me and I'm buying superfoods to help my health. In essence, once you're set up, you're looking at getting these superfoods for nothing because you're using the passive income from here to do it. So I think I have come across something. For me personally, I've got the best of both worlds. I've secured my health, I've secured my wealth, and that's what I'm trying to do to help other people. And that's what I do full time now, because I just retired from the fire service after 30 years in April, which was great. And this is a real passion now that I'm following. It's a real passion in the health and the wealth world. It really is. So I don't call myself a nutrition expert and I don't call myself a financial advisor. All I am is a guide to guide people and help them. And I love it, Dave. I absolutely love it. It's worth getting up for every day. You get up with a spring in your step, as we say.
Yeah, that's amazing, Andy, because I know you for probably seven years now, and you were already someone who inspired me a lot for these last few years. And I also believe in stories, and just listening your stories not from scratch, as you say, the podcast will be way longer, but listening your stories is really inspiring, and it's amazing how we can connect with your passion and with the belief and the value you bring to your career. And that's, I really appreciate it, and thank you very much for trusting me to come in this podcast and bring this great information for the community.
Oh, thank you for asking me, Dave. I'll just add one thing onto that as well. As a firefighter, you can imagine you could be on a fire for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. And, it's hot, it's sweaty. You lose a lot of body fluids. You get drained of energy. And in the fire service, what happens is in your fire engine, you got really highly processed tinned foods that, they warm themselves up. If it's a really, really big fire in there for a long time, they bring a canteen pod in, and it's just rubbish foods. It's terrible foods. Well, what I used to do, I used to take a shaker bottle with me because we got plenty of water, take a shaker bottle, and in a couple of small Tupperware tubs, I would always have it on the fire engine with me, and I would have powders, I would have amino acids, and these powders would supply sustained energy to me from the superfoods. The amino acids would repair my body as I'm going along. And while other guys would be eating all the foods, and it gives them that big burst of energy, but then their sugar crashes. I don't get that huge burst of energy. What I get is a rise of sustained energy slowly, which carries me through. So I just wanted to say that as well, because it's very important to understand about how the difference between eating something to give you that burst of energy and then it crashes to something sustainable.
Yeah. And you were a little bit quicker than me, because that was my next questions. Because as a firefighter, you must have developed qualities like discipline and physical training habits. but I guess night shift and stress situations and toxins may have impaired your health during all these years, 30 years of firefighting. I mean, I can't imagine what's one day in your career. So how did you manage to keep this vibrant energy all these years? Can you talk about, because you know the four doctors of Polchek, and I like to bring these four on the podcast to help people think about, okay, what do you do, or what have you done these last few years to recover, to actively recover? So Dr. Quiet, what's your habits, Andy?
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave, throw in the doctors at me and I'll tell you how I incorporate it into my life. Okay, so Dr. Quiet, some of the things that I've done over the years. Now let's go back to, it's a highly toxic environment that I worked in. Okay, very toxic environment. As much as you have breathing apparatus, you can't wear it all the time. No. You've got to do a lot of different things. But even I went to see a holistic dentist. And he was amazing. I still see him now. And as vibrant as my health is, he tested me. He done some special testing on me with different, and it was really weird what he was doing. But he said, Andy, you live such a super clean lifestyle, but your body is highly toxic. He said, and one of the things, obviously, is your job, but one of the things is the toxins that just come off your fire gear that you wear. The toxins that they impregnate in the fire gear that you wear comes off, it gets absorbed in your skin and you breathe it in. He said, that's probably just as bad as the smoke and everything. So I was highly toxic on the holistic level, on the level we work at. Okay. But if I hadn't lived the clean lifestyle, I don't know what I would have been like. So yeah, Dr. Quiet, I meditate. Okay, I'm not great at meditation. I find it really tough. Okay, but I can meditate, and I do meditate. I follow a lot of Wim Hof breathing. I do a lot of Wim Hof breathing. Any chance I get, which I can get every day if I want now, I'll get up about 6:37 in the morning, not to an alarm clock anymore, and I feel so much better not working shifts. Okay, really, really feel good not working shifts. I'll maybe grab my juice, or I might even grab a coffee and my juice, and I'll go out. I'll put the chair on the garden and I'll ground on the garden. Sometimes I might do a bit of Tai Chi. Sometimes I'll just sit there and I might just meditate. Let's do some guided meditation. I presume some of your viewers have heard of Joe Dispenza. I use some of Joe Dispenza's guided meditations, and some are 20 minutes, some are an hour. I usually stick to the shorter ones because I find an hour really, really tough to meditate. I really do, just being honest. And I'll do that. So I'm getting my grounding. I'm getting my meditation and getting my quiet time. And also I like to go for regular walks in nature through the woods and things like that. So that's how I tend to, not every single day, but as often as I can, that's how I tend to incorporate Dr. Quiet into my life.
Nice. Perfect. So of course, Dr. Menu is a big part of your daily routine with the superfood, but do you follow any other specific own rules, or how did you find the nutrition part of it during your career?
Yeah, well, it was tough in the fire brigade, because as much as you take these amazing shakes and these amazing superfoods and they give your body everything it needs, see up there, we have all got an emotional attachment to food. Mm-hmm. Okay, and as much as you could drink I do drink the most sustainable superfoods that I've ever come across. You do that and you smell sausages cooking and you smell something cooking, and it's there, isn't it? So the toughest bit was to restrain myself from that. And I'll put my hand on my heart and tell you right now, I couldn't do it all the time. Okay. When you come in at 2 o'clock in the morning and you've been at a fire for 5 or 6 hours and you've taken your superfoods and you smell something like that cooking, even if it's a pizza, sometimes you'll throw it down your neck. Okay. But that's life. Yeah. What I've never done, I have never given myself a hard time for that. I've never, what we call, ruminate on it. I've never thought, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. I know it's going to affect me negatively, but tomorrow I'll move forward. Yeah. And that's what I do. So yeah, it hasn't been hard in work. Home, it's much, much easier. Yeah. So I'm going to give you a general routine. It changes every day or two, but a general routine would be something like this. I'll wake up in the morning, do what I said, a bit of Dr. Quiet, and I'll probably have a juice, or I might just have a coffee and I'll fast until maybe lunchtime. Lunchtime, I will either have some more aminos and a juice, or like today, what I had today was some sourdough, 2 slices of sourdough bread. I made my own fresh guacamole, some nice thick Kerrygold butter on the bread, on the toast, slapped on the guacamole, took some amino acids, and that was my lunch. And now I'll probably have a small shake before a healthy evening meal tonight. And tonight I'm going to have, some people will probably frown at me with this, but everybody who's into what we're into will know how good a good quality butter is for you, or coconut oil. So I'll stir fry some chicken thighs in either coconut oil or butter. And then I'll also kind of stir fry but saute some cabbage, some cabbage, some broccoli, and I might have some peas or something like that with it as well. And that'll be my evening meal. That's generally how I go through my day, but it does differ from day to day as well, different things that I do.
Well, if I understand you, Andy, in 10 years, we can do this podcast again, and you're going to be 10 years younger, because you're going to detox of 30 years of hard career in toxins and night shift and everything. So yeah, let's do this in 10 years. But
yeah, well, I will say, when you mentioned detox, yeah, I do. Maybe a few times a year I will do a detox. I'll do a cleanse, but I'll do a cleanse using the products that I do, the juice products that I use. I'll do a cleanse doing them. So I'm in essence juice fasting. Okay, basically eating vegan with these juices for 10 days.
Yeah. And
that 10 days, wow. It's a powerful 10 days. It's an easy 10 days. It's not hard, but I'll refrain from meat, fats, those type of fats, and I'll just eat the superfoods. And maybe 3 or 4 times a year I'll do something like that as well.
Nice. Yeah. What about Dr. Movement? So you say that now that you retired, you more like on the fitness and the gym type of workouts. Is it like your movement, like your nutrition, your food depends on the feeling, or do you have a strict program that you follow?
I'd say it's semi-strict that I follow. Now, again, the 30 years I was in the fire service, it was so tough.
Oh yeah.
It was so tough because you get so tired. Just because of shift work and a physical job, you get so tired that I did get a bit lazy over maybe the last 5 years. And I didn't do the mobility movements I should do. And I've stiffened up a lot. But literally the last couple of months now, I've started being kind to myself, and I've started spending time doing more mobilizations.
Right.
Because as much I was training hard in the gym, not doing the mobilizations that I should have been doing, I started stiffening up in my spine and joints and things like that. And unfortunately, as the years went on, it's had a chronic effect on me. But luckily, I'm knowledgeable enough to be able to, I'm not going to reverse it as such, but I'm going to be able to manage it. Okay. I can now manage I am going to be able to increase my mobility. So that's what I'm doing on the mobility side of it. 3 days a week, I do quite a strict weightlifting program. Right at the moment, if you go onto my Instagram and that now, you'll see some of my workouts I'm going through. So it's called wave training at the moment. Okay. So I will stick to a program, because if you've got a program to stick to, you can see your gains, your losses, you can see what's happening, and having a program to train to really focuses you in the gym. There's nothing worse, as we both know, Dave, going to the gym and thinking, what am I going to do today?
Yeah, no.
It's terrible. It's a terrible way to train. And then maybe twice a week, I'll do some conditioning, so I might do some rowing. I might do different things where I'm doing a bit of metabolic conditioning. So I'm getting 5 workouts a week, which I couldn't do when I was in the fire service, but I'm able to do now, which is great.
Yeah, but it's like, as an entrepreneur, you cannot just say, okay, what I'm going to do today. I mean, you have strategies, you have way to go. And do you think these routine and behavior you bring to your health help you into your entrepreneurial career, or do you see these two going side by side?
Yeah, side by side. I think because I used to train with training programs, but the training programs years ago before I met Paul Chek were absolutely rubbish. Okay, they were just ones I copied out of a magazine. Yeah. But I still mentally, I was still training via training programs. So I think that helped me schedule what I was doing as an entrepreneur. But being an entrepreneur, it's not just knowing the products, the mechanics of the companies that you're working with. You have to do a lot of self-development. As you know yourself, Dave, you've done it yourself. I've done a lot of self-development, and I've had some great coaches and mentors. I've spent a lot of money on self-developing myself. So as you self-develop yourself as an entrepreneur, I would say probably the entrepreneur side of it is helping me more on the exercise and movement side of it than the exercise, movement side of it as an entrepreneur. It's kind of switched. But there's definitely, yeah, they definitely run side by side. Until you said it there, Dave, I didn't even realize it. Until you said it there, it hit me. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think of it that way, but they do definitely help each other. And when you said that, I now understand why. So thanks, Dave. You just opened my eyes to something there, which was great. Yeah, it's brilliant.
You're welcome. You know, you gave me so much in these few years, so I'm happy that I give you some insight. So my last, no, not my last questions, because I have one more questions after the four doctors. But yeah, Dr. Happy, what make you wake up and involve yourself in these two in this career today? What's your drive today, Andy?
100% my wife.
Yeah.
Okay, Kareem, 100%. I've been married for nearly 30 years now, but we've known each other for 33, 34 years. And life wouldn't be the same without waking up next to the person that you love more than anything. And that's what drives me through life. It really does. Having somebody amazing by my side to be able to share all these amazing things with. But I'm double lucky because Karine is also an entrepreneur, and she gave up her 9-to-5 job, which took her all over the place away from each other. And she decided to put that to the side, give it up, and get heavily involved in the entrepreneurial side of it. So I feel really, really lucky that not only have I got something I can share all this with, but we also work together. And I know a lot of people say that they struggle to work with their partner, their spouse, or whatever. I don't. We work together great. So that's my driving factor for getting up in the morning. That's my driving force, should I say, for getting up in the morning, and that gives me the energy to go on and do everything else.
Wow, nothing else to say, Andy. Wow, amazing. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. And one more questions for you before I invite the people who are listening to maybe look after your workout and follow you on the social media. What would be the number one advice you would give to entrepreneurs today who go through, that and hard time? For the last 18 months, and the world has been kind of crazy without going too much in this area, but entrepreneurs have been touched by all these changes. So what would be your number one advice for this entrepreneur?
Yeah, do you know what? I don't know if you know Brian Rose from London Real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Brian Rose, when he used to do all his interviews, he used to ask a question very similar to what you asked, Dave. But he said, if you could go back to a young 18-year-old Andy, what advice would you give them? It's kind of changed because of the world we're in right now. But what I would say to anybody living in the world we're in now is, number one, don't be blinkered. Don't have tunnel vision in one area. Look at everything. Even if you hate that side of it, look at it. Understand where it's coming from. Look at the other side. Understand everything about it. Bring them both together and make a fully informed opinion. Okay, so make a fully informed opinion, not just what's going on in the world. Okay, but I'm gonna go back to what I said about Paul Chek and how I used to train. I thought I knew everything about training. because I learned it from the mainstream. Then I found Paul Chek, okay, and I brought these two together, and I made my opinions and decisions on how I was going to take my life forward in the health world, okay? So definitely, don't just shun somebody away and say that's rubbish. Listen to what they got to say. Investigate it. Then take a look at your side of it and other sides of it, and bring it all together for middle ground and see what happens there. So that's one bit of advice I would say. And the second bit of advice I would say is, in today's world, it is absolutely crazy what's going on out there. Don't go too far down the rabbit hole, okay, unless you can cope with it. I can cope with it. I can go deep down the rabbit hole and I can let it go, no problems. But don't go too deep down the rabbit hole. But do enough to understand what's going on in the world, but try not to let it affect your life negatively. And I'm going to use entrepreneurship. I'm going to use network marketing, for example, okay? As an example, network marketing used to be looked upon as one of those things. And then all of a sudden, unfortunately, heartbreakingly, people were losing their jobs. They had no money. And there are people who have to then find a way to make money working at home. So from an entrepreneur side of it, during these last 2 years, or less than 2 years, network marketing has exploded because people can work from home globally. Look at me and you. Yeah. You're in Canada. I'm in Scotland.
Of course.
Okay. And we work together as well as doing podcasts and things like that. So you can work from home, you can make money from home, and you can grow your business from home if you find the correct business, the correct company that resonates with you. Okay. So there may be the bits of advice that I would look at in today's world. If you'd have asked me 3 years ago, it would have been slightly different. Okay. And always keep self-developing yourself. When you get up in the morning, as soon as even before you really wake up, think positive thoughts. Think about something positive that you're going to do that day, because then you won't wake up in a slump. You'll wake up with a bit of a spring in your step. Okay. Always carry that positive attitude. Focus on the light. Don't focus on the dark. Okay. Because the dark will always want to come and extinguish the light. Yeah. But if we burn that bright light enough, we'll extinguish the dark. Yeah. Okay. And that's emotionally, mentally, physically, any way at all.
And you and me knows that these positive affirmations need to be nurtured from the inside. So the four doctors are very important. I mean, the three first, having some quiet time, having some really good food and some movement routine and program are very important to structure our daily life. And on top of that, that's, you know a little bit of my story and my expertise, but this is what really kept me on track for these last few years where I had a very hard time. But that's because I nourish as much as I could these three first doctors. And the last one, Dr. Happy, of course, there's many things that can nurture this. And my family has been also something that really pushing me forward. And also today, because with two young children and a beautiful wife, I need to show the way and bring these good vibrations inside a house where, as a newcomers in Ottawa, of course, it's with challenges and everything.
Of course, yeah.
In the middle of a very bizarre time. But yeah, I follow you 100% about that. And having a morning routine is, as you said, with the good affirmations and positive affirmations is very important.
And be flexible with it as well. Okay, it's great having a routine, but be flexible. If you miss something, don't give yourself a hard time. Just go pass it. Okay, go back to it another time. So be flexible.
Yeah, exactly.
Be kind to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So thank you very much, Andy. I really enjoyed this interview. I really enjoyed this new job, actually, as a podcaster. I'm a very newbie in this industry, but I really like to connect even with people I know or I may know a little bit. I think these interviews are very inspiring. So if people connect or wants to connect with you, they can find you on Instagram and Facebook, right?
Yeah, they're the two that I really use, Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. Ping me messages if you got any questions about anything. There's some things I'd love to talk about in the health world now, but I can't because if you go onto my Instagram and Facebook, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
certain things, okay, that people can use in everyday life right now that is incredible for your health,
Yeah.
but I'm not allowed to talk about it because the system says it's illegal. So go on there, ping me messages. I'll help people as much as I can.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andy. So I will put all the details in the comment section or on the description section of this video. So again, thank you very much, Andy. Have a very nice day or evening today with this amazing chicken and cabbage and dinner you're going to share with Corinne. My best regards to Corinne from me and my family, of course. And to all of you who follow this podcast, I hope you enjoyed this first one in English. And again, let's meet next week for another interview. And if you have any questions, you can call me, you can message me, or you can contact directly. Andy, bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.